I'm back. I am back. I am back. I am back. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Carlton. If it's your first time tuning into my channel, welcome. So this channel is about finance. I'm going to start adding faith, family, but anything that will help you to be a better person financially. In your faith, family-wise, etc. I've been missing for a minute on YouTube, but I've been creating content on mainstream. And two of my supporters messaged me, one on Facebook, yes, we're still on Facebook, and one on Instagram. So Carlton, put out your content on the channel because sometimes we're not able to watch you on CVM. I'm like, good idea because I have so much content, but I've not been putting them on my channel. But guess what? I am giving you my commitment to ensure that the information, the good information that you want and need and is here to help you is on the channel. So hold me accountable because I want to be the financial educator that I promised, just to help you to be better with your money. So, on this week's episode, real estate needs to be on your plan. If you're not on the plan, put it on your plan. If you don't own a house, if you don't own land, if you don't own real estate, put it on your plan. If it's your first time buying real estate here in Jamaica or you are interested in knowing about that, this video is for you. So I've written down a few things that I think that everybody needs to ask themselves once you're going to be in real estate for the very first time. And as a banker, I wanted to help you just navigate that space a little bit better because I want us all to own real estate here in Jamaica. So number one, you need to think about is your income reality. You want to ask yourself the question, what can I afford comfortably in paying a mortgage if you're going to be financing this property? You want to say to yourself, monthly, when I make my monthly payment for this mortgage payment, am I going to be struggling too badly? Am I going to be stressing out? That kind of thing. So you want to ask yourself comfortably. I know most persons will say, Carlton, I can't afford it, man, I can afford it. But the harsh reality, it doesn't always work like that. If you're going to be going through a bank or the NHT, for example, most lenders will want to look at what is called your debt service ratio. And that really is, they're saying to you, you cannot, for example, spend more than 45% of your income on any loan payments combined. So a good rule of thumb is that for your mortgage, you should not use more than 30% of your salary as mortgage payments. So if you're earning $100,000 per month, it is saying that your mortgage should not pass 30,000 Jamaican dollars. If you're earning $200,000, your mortgage should not pass 60,000 Jamaican dollars. That's a basic rule of thumb that you want to utilize to know what you can afford. Also, you can go to one of your lenders or go on any website that offers a calculator and to put in really and truly, if the house is for $20 million, look what the payment is going to be like to give you a fair idea. Another thing that you want to ask yourself, do I want to buy or do I want to build? And I know our Jamaican space doesn't allow for a lot of persons to build because you really and truly can't find any good builders. It is so hard to find good contractors, persons who are honest enough to build. But if you can build, that's an option as well. I want you to explore. If you have the expertise, the technical skills, the know-how, or you can hire somebody who can do that for you honestly, I think that's a good option for you as well, that you can explore. But weigh the pros, weigh the cons. The Jamaican market now is about $5,000 to $7,000 per square feet to build a house. So on average, a house about 900 square feet, you're looking about maybe 12 million to 17 million at its maximum. But that same house, two-bedroom house, is being sold for $35, $40 million, even though it costs the highest, maybe $20 million to be built. So you see that there's an option there for you to actually explore based on your affordability. That's the first thing. The next thing you want to look at is your credit. If you're going to be borrowing to buy or to build a house or to buy the land, you need to ensure you have good credit people. And I've been saying this over and over. You cannot treat your loans any way you feel like, and then you want to go back for this instance to take out a mortgage. So if this is that you have credit card, pay them on time. If this is that you have multiple loans, you want to clean them up because, as I mentioned earlier, something is called your debt service that the banks will calculate. And if you have too many loans, chances are you can't qualify for the mortgage and you want to own the real estate. So go into the credit bureau here in Jamaica. There are one or two of them. You can go to your credit bureaus and you can ask for a free copy of your report to see how things are looking on your behalf. Number three you want to ask is, how much is the deposit? So for most persons selling, you need to ensure that you, the buyer, have at least 10% of the cost of the house as a deposit. That simply means if the house is for 20 million Jamaican dollars, you must have $2 million saved up as a deposit. And that's sometimes what is beating most persons bad, the inability to find your deposit. But if it's on your plan to achieve real estate, you want to start saving towards that from now. It is difficult, I know it is, but it is achievable. All right, you want to ensure you're saving your deposit. If the house is for 30 million, you need to save $3 million. Carlton, we're going to find that, but people, we can't spend the same way if we intend to start saving towards owning our real estate. So you want to think about that as well, which is your deposit. The next thing you want to look at is what is called your closing cost now. So to close the deal, I'm going to read from a list that I've prepared here. To close the deal, you need your stamp duty, you need transfer tax, these are all costs. You need the legal fees, your attorney fee. You need an attorney. Don't tell me, Carlton, but the vendor have an attorney. But you need an attorney for yourself. You need someone to look out in your best interest, all right? To go through your sales agreement, etc. And most attorneys will charge between 2 to 5% of the cost of what you are buying. So the cost will add up. You're looking on survey ID report. If you're buying land, you need a survey ID. If you're buying a house, most often it's not newly constructed, you possibly will need to pay to get one done. You may need a valuation report as well. So these are all costs that no one sometimes reminds us of until we're in the transaction doing it. We are saying, but hold on there. These are things I need to pay? Yes. You need to be worrying about all of those added costs. One more thing you want to check on is your NHT reality check. Check to see if it is that you qualify for the NHT to help you to minimize your monthly payments. Meaning the NHT right now is the cheapest mortgage rate in the market. So if you can use that to supplement what you're buying, because in most cases the NHT benefit cannot buy a house on the open market fully unless it's their scheme in reality and they will finance everything. But it can help. It can really and truly help. It can make your monthly payments much cheaper than if you're taking everything out at market rate right now based on the lenders in the market. So check if it is that you are self-employed, you still can benefit as well if you are paying your contributions. We're going to like NHT, ask them and they're pretty friendly down there, so you can generally get some information from the NHT. You want to check as well location. Where are you going to be buying this house? That's something you want to ask yourself. The harsh reality is everybody can't live under the clock. Everybody can't live at Kingston. So the option is still there. You have the rural areas that you can live. You have outside of Kingston that you can live. I know everybody wants to live in Kingston, but it can't work. There are areas that we can all go in the rural areas I mentioned. Developing areas I know we have over on the St. Catherine side, Old Harbour is developing. And with the highway, you're cutting the time to travel back to Kingston, etc. But you can explore those options as well. When you're looking at location, you want to look at, is it booming? What's the potential like? Is there demand in the area? Because you don't want to buy real estate in an area where the value may go down over time. You want to ask those questions. You want to check, is a flooding area? You want to ask the neighbors, is garbage being collected here from time to time? Ask those basic questions, because when you move into the area, because it's a big investment, you don't want to have any buyer's remorse after you have gone into something like your mortgage. So location is important. You want to also look at infrastructure. So I know sometimes you are buying homes and they look very nice. You're buying maybe a second-hand home, meaning somebody living already and you're going into maybe refurbish and to rebuild. You want to check, the valuation report sometimes will tell you the lifespan of the roof, etc. Check infrastructure, ask questions, ask the engineers, get professional help where this is concerned, because sometimes you may buy an older house because it's much cheaper, but then it works out more expensive when you're tearing down the entire roof. You realize there's plumbing problems, etc. So that is so important if you're going to be exploring the option of buying real estate here in Jamaica. Location, infrastructure. And lastly, I want you to check your emotional readiness. Taking on a mortgage is a big deal, it's a big task, especially if you're doing something expensive, etc., etc. You want to make sure that you are emotionally ready. Am I buying this house right now because it's a thing people are talking about buying a house, or you're really ready to take on this responsibility? I mean, real estate is one of the ways that you can grow your wealth, so I encourage it all the time. But ensure that when you're getting into it, that you have thought it through. One tip I got when I was doing my first real estate purchase, and I want to give that to you as well, is when you are ready to purchase a real estate, whether a year from now, etc., and the repayment, for example, is $50,000 a month. That's what you are aiming toward. put down that money every single month and see how it is that you feel. Get used to it, because guess what? At the end of the day, you're going to be paying this for the next 20, 30, 40 years, depending on how long you're going to be taking. So start practice the mortgage payments from now. But there are some tips I want to give you today if it's that you want to get into the real estate space here in Jamaica. If you have any other tip, please feel free to put it in the comments below. But share the video to somebody who's looking to go into real estate and buy their first real estate. Share the video, like, comment, and please subscribe to my channel, and let's talk money with Carlton. Thanks guys, have a good one.